Okay, now that I got my desk area cleaned, I know it's a little scarred here, but I'm gonna put a mat here, I guess. Anyways, got everything all detailed here. My vintage phone here, rotary phone. Anyways, I was going through my display cabinet and thought I'd bring this out and read this. If some of you don't know, this is the Hyperformance Rays brochure catalog. This goes way back to, I guess, I want to say, when did he start it? 1994? Or he might have been even earlier. This was way before the internet. This was just word of mouth, classified ads. Anyways, my friend Pete Aronson, which lives about 5 miles south of me, and in Chandler. But anyways, I got to know Pete, or learned about Pete from a man at the flea market that he had a setup that he sold lowrider bikes and accessories and tires and stuff like that. And sometimes once in a while something vintage, but the only vintage I ever got from him was these NOS 26-inch S2 hoops, which I got them mounted to my cruiser bike out just outside my building here. And anyways, he gave me his number, or even a card. It might have been a card. And I gave him a call, and he said, "Yeah, come on over." So it didn't take me hard to find his home. Just going by the address, the street, and I knew Chandler pretty good too. So, anyways, this was his brochure catalog, and he had updated it many times. So this is catalog volume 7. Anyways, says Hyperformance is now officially licensed to produce genuine, authentic Stingray parts, my seats, decals, and screening services. No longer reproductions, but genuine, authentic Schwinn parts. Look for the logo on these and future parts from Hyperformance. And I'm not sure if he did the drawing or somebody did the drawing for him. Pretty cool. And it says here, there must be a reason Schwinn bikes are the best. Schwinn bikes do ride notably better. They do stand up. They don't fall apart. The few dollars more a new Schwinn costs are saved time and again in lower upkeep costs. Schwinn is worth more in at trade-in too. Schwinn owners agree. Schwinn bikes are the best. Yeah, I agree with that. See here, page here, and this basically just says about Hyperformance Rays. He says, Stingray's rule. This year, I'm proud to announce that I am a Schwinn Classic Parts authorized dealer. This means great parts availability and Schwinn support with our hobby. Hyperformance also has a new email address. Don't know if it's AOL.com. Not sure if that's even he uses that anymore. But anyways, it says, take a look at my new web page. He's even on the web. But back then, it was computers were expensive and internet service was expensive. I was on a dial-up in the beginning. I had web TV. Whoopie-doo. But hey, I got to email him and kind of did some kind of photos, but they were really slow to upload. But anyways, it says, I hope you like my new catalog, especially the genuine, authentic decal seats and screening. As always, all my products are of the highest quality to assure your satisfaction with your restoration. If you have any questions, just call. And it says here, to share a story about the latest Stingray conquest. This is phone number there. I'm not sure if that's could be outdated, but anyways, he talks about his offers, the largest inventory of new all stock parts, and I agree with that. I've been to his place many times. He has stuff that made me drool. Got me started as far as collecting parts. The only bike I had at the time I met Pete was my 69 lemon peeler. That's all I had. I bought it back in 82 at a local former Schwinn dealer here in town, up north of me actually. They have 4 locations. That was their north, or their, yeah, that was their Scottsdale location. And back in 82, I still had my lowrider bike, but I was seemed to be getting a little bit, I felt I was getting too old for it. I don't know why. Taking a look at the bike back here, I'm 60 years old, and I love these bikes. I love enhancing them. I love working with them. I like restoring them. I have not painted a bike in quite a while, but I've done all my restoration with just paint cans. Waited for a nice day with no breeze, nice warm 82, 85 temperature, and washed down the concrete. The bike was already prepped and hung it up and painted. Did all my decals and water transfer or screenings. Not myself, but the Schwinn dealer had a screening board. Pete had a screening board. But anyways, there's not a bike here that I painted. I just did a little bit of a touch up. This is original paint. Little touch up on this one here. But other than that, my bikes that I did paint and restored, I sold all of them back in 2019. I regret it, but I was in a bad ankle accident and I was out of a job, and then needed to make sure I had enough money to last me until my short-term disability and long-term kicked in, and eventually applied for Social Security disability, because there's no way I can work with a lot of metal parts in here, a rod, and there's about 8 medical screws in that leg, and fused ankle, so it's difficulty walking in a ways if I don't walk too fast. So I can ride a bike, but very carefully mounting off. So anyways, but getting back to the catalog, and Pete, he had a lot of stuff. He had windshields, he had some ball lights, he had a lot of stuff, cables galore, tires. He had a mega tires, unbelievable. A lot of Neo stock, a lot of mint. I think Pete was very particular when he bought stuff that he knows he's going to sell. You don't want to buy a tire that's got severe dry cracks and all that. So Pete was the man to deal with back then. You got quality stuff, that's for sure. Basically what this talks about here, and this part here, you can actually pause the video if you want to read out of this, but I'll kind of go over some of it. This is the Springer parts. Pete did have the spring. He might have had the yoke hardware. He might have had crate forks. If he did, he might have had them in cabinets, because I didn't see, everything was not exposed. You just kind of ask him. He kind of checked his inventory, and to make, if you were contacting him out of state, if you called him, or if you had a computer and you emailed him to his AOL account. Back in the Schwinn forum, I believe you could reach him there. Not 100%, but I think he did show me the Schwinn forum. I didn't even know about it back in 1998, 99, somewhere around there. Anyways, and this is the crate Springer Super Deluxe. Of course, these are interchangeable. And then he had he might have had used pogos, not pogos, but the rear strut and the reissue ones. And he did have the shock kits. And he just had come in with these pogo seat posts. And I was probably one of the early ones that got one from him. but I sold that one, and I picked up one. It's in there, off auction. Got a good price for it. I believe that's a peach reproduction one. But anyways, this is talks about that. Let me turn the page here. Bear with me. If that sound, that's my air conditioning in the background. So. A little warm today. I think it was like 92. And then this is the Stingray newsletter. So this, if you want to subscribe for it, you can become a subscriber and you get updates and pretty cool articles. A lot of vintage articles and stuff in there. And there might be a classified in there too. This is just a sample of what it looked like. Of course, you have to fill out the information to sign in for it. And then on the back was his new old stock parts. He had slick tires. He had the white walls. He had all these were new old stock he had. These are just probably taken off the catalog, on the Schwinn catalog. I'm not sure how he did this. But anyways, he had a lot of this stuff. Tail lights, turn signals, and there's always prices. A lot of these ones here, you got to call him because according to the collector market, always changes. So triple note horns. Here's some of his prices. His deluxe speedometers are $135. That's for the deluxe speedometer. I remember one of my earliest or second earliest accessory I bought from him. This was back in 1996, 5 or 6. Was a speedometer, crate speedometer, the NOS in the box, $75. Now you all know what they're looking at the prices now, what they're going at. I don't know if they get that kind of money, but that's what they're up there now. $600. I don't know. Anybody can put a price on anything. It's free enterprise. So, anyways, the deluxe speedometers were $135, and his buffed white leather slicks. These are the repo ones for $40. The black wall Schwinn slick NOS was $80, and the other tires you have to call them on. That was his prices back then. 16-inch superior black wall NOS, $75. Anyways, it goes down to stuff he has, his grips. A lot of his reproductions with some of his new old stock. When he says call, you know that's going to be a high price item. So anyways, that's that portion of it. I like the cartoons of back then. I'm not sure. I think somebody did it for him. I'm not sure how that went. And this is the exact color match paints. It says here, if you want to correctly restore your Stingray, I have got what you need. Hyperformance Rays exact color match paints. These colors were expertly matched to original colors of Schwinn paints. The candy colors require aluminum base coat and need to be cleared when finished. It says my paint is available in pints or 12-ounce cans, spray cans. To paint, a pint will paint 3 bikes. 2 spray cans of a color and 1 can of base coat and 1 can of clear is required to paint a bike. A candy color solid colors require 2 spray cans and an additional can of clear. All paint is acrylic lacquer clear or urethane clear can be used. Candy colors are tricky to paint. The number of coats determines the color, so that's what you got to be careful on that. I've seen some guys restore like an apple crate, for instance, a little bit darker than it should be, and some a little bit too lighter. So it's anyways, but that's just paints there. And it says candy colors available: sky blue, radiant copper tone, campus green, terracotta, even had terracotta, cardinal red, violet. I don't know why he had cardinal red. Violet and Sierra brown. Solid colors available: cool orange, sunset orange, cotton picker white, cool lemon, and it says here requires base coat also. I'm not sure what he meant by that. I mean, I understand what he means by that, but I never heard of it, and many people are going to argue about that, but I don't know. That's just what you can see. That's what he written here. So, anyways, Gray Ghost Silver requires clear. That's true. His 12-ounce spray cans were the pints were $24. 12-ounce cans were $14. 12-ounce spray clear was $10. One or 15-ounce spray self-etching primer was $12. Good old days. That ain't gonna happen anymore. Sadly, but that ain't gonna happen anymore. And this is another thing about Stingray City News. Another you fill out. And also he offered his decals. It says here, and silk screening. Well, here they are, genuine, authentic Stingray decals. No more excuses. These are the real thing. Over 30 different decals and stickers are available. If you don't see it, just call. I probably have it, just the one you need. These are the correct water transfer style and can be cleared, coated. Call for info. So if you had questions on the decals or his paints, he was the kind of guy that, hey, you give him a call. His chin guards, the decal was $9, and I'm not sure he would prep paint, silk screen, and clear if needed the chin guards. I'm not sure what his prices are there. Shifter sets, 2 pieces. These are decals, $12. C-post logo, $3. Fork darts, a pair, $4. Crate set, 4 pieces, $24. Fastback, 8 pieces, $32. Manta Ray set, 8 pieces, $32. Stingray set, 6 pieces. These are all kits of the decals, $24. Super Deluxe, 4 pieces, $20. Disc brake sticker, $6. And number 5 on the ship knob was $5. Here we go. But the chin guard screening, it says authentic original screening done on your painted guard, or he can paint it for you. There's probably going to be a surcharge there. The finishing touch for your restoration. It says most logos available. Turnaround is about 1 week. Silk screen charge. Here we go. Excuse me. $25. Paint screen solid color, $40. Paint and screen candy color, $45. For those Pete's prices probably back in early to mid 70s. So I'm sorry, early to mid 2000s. Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm thinking old school stuff, and I'm thinking 70s, 2000. Anyways, this one here, I bought this one on auction. I have my original one in the display case, but somebody offered this one here on eBay. I paid $5 for this, like $2, $2.50 to ship it. So anyway, I want to show that person's address there. Anyways, that was all about high performance rays. Good old days. Miss those days. Anyways, gonna get ready to do some testing here. This is my Oxford tail light. That's just the cover of it. And here it is right here. Check out those square nuts on there. You know this is the early 70s. So we're gonna test this. Get it out of the bag here. Let's do that one-handed. You know, when you video, things never want to cooperate. Anyways, here it is. And this is, I am positive thinking, I wish I'd had some 35 millimeter, I might have had one or two, but I don't know where they're at nowadays. But I remember the tail light that was on my lowrider bike, and I'll just use this bike as an example, because the bike I had, it had to been 60, early 69, 68, because the Schwinn dealer, he did look at the serial number. He was looking at a number in the back, and I had no idea I thought it was just a serial of the frame or whatever. And that's when he was looking in the back room just to get me the parts to help me build this bike, or that lowrider bike back then. So my frame could have been a 68, 69. I did have to go with, no, it hadn't been, I'm trying to think, because, no, it had the small sprocket. That's what happens. So I'm trying to remember. I've had that one for a long time. I know that. I don't know if I changed it later on. I don't remember. I do have the small sprocket, and I think I have it in my drawer over there. Because I remember, I thought it was this kind of sprocket. If I were to find those pictures, it would really help me to see what sprocket it was. But anyways, these are Razor, so I don't know, was it in 60, somewhere in 1969, if somebody can correct me, that they went to the safety age, like, you know, was on that's a 70 orange crate there. So it could have been a 68, and I'm not sure when, I think it was in 69 when they went to the that type of sprocket from the small 36. Some little details, sometimes hard to reflect the exact one I had, but I know I had that one for a long time, even before I had any bikes, even before the linen peeler in '82. But anyways, I'm pretty sure, getting back to this was the one I had, that I had in the back. It would be back in here. And I'm thinking about I should put it on this. I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this one a little higher. So, because this one light here, it goes out this way, the reflective of the light. And if I figure if I put this thing here lower, so you might block it. I'm trying to think what I can do. I like to put this one on there. And that's the reason why I bought it, because I'm kind of doing almost what I done back in 1977. I mean, there's some stuff on this bike, it's a little bit more enhanced than what I had. You know, I had the Sears light, which is over there on here, and I did have a bell, but I think it wasn't the Schwinn bell. It was, I don't know which kind of bell I had on there. And what else did I had? I had about 4 rectangular mirrors on here. My friends were even putting it on the spring fork, but I didn't. I had 4 mirrors right here. I might have had 6. I might have had 2 more up there. I don't remember. I know I had 4. I know that. So, anyways, and what else? Of course, you know, I didn't have this electric horn. I did had which I think I have an extra one back there. I could put one just to put it out here, a single note horn. So that's something I could do too. But I'm trying to think. I like this one here because it's a laser and it actually is a tail light. But I do want to put this one on there. So I could, until I get this mounted on here. No, it's going to go like up in here somehow. And it might throw the view off from this. So unless I mount that somewhere else, we will see. We will see. If not, I can still put it on here and not use that, use this. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just putting all kinds of stuff on this bike. Well, that's what I'm gonna do. Is I found another battery. I do have one in my tote bag. So I'm gonna cut the video off and get this put on and show you how it works.